This is my Kale Tragedy Overground deck. One copy of the leader. 4 Energetic Frenzy Kefla. 4 Kale Rampaging Demon. 4 SS Kefla Unending Evolution. 4 SS Kale Universe 6 Combination. 4 SS Khalifa Rapid Reposate, whatever it's called. Reposate. 4 copies of SS2 Khalifa Universe 6 Combination. 4 copies of Senzu Bean, 4 copies of Universe 6 Combination, 4 copies of A Sister's Determination, 4 copies of Tragedy Overground, 4 copies of SS Khalifa Spirited Striker Unison, 4 copies of Rad's Giant Force Unison, 4 copies of SS4 Goku Protector of the Earth Unison, and 1 copy of Baby Hachiyak Saiyan Destroyer. First thing to note is that once you use the effects of some of your cards, specifically this Khalifa and this Khalifa, they have the ability to be put under your leader. So this is where you're going to be getting your ramp from, but this is a ramp deck, so you're going to get your ramp from. They have the condition where you can't play non-Universe 6 battle cards. Notice it specifically says battle cards. So you can play anything like Tragedy Overground, for example, that is not a battle, because it's not a battle card, that has 35k power or less. So anything that's over 35k power that isn't Universe 6 can be played, and that's where the Baby Hachiyak comes in, because he's a 40k. He's not Universe 6, but he's 40k, so he's able to bypass the effect of the Khalifa ramp cards. So keep that in mind. So moving on, I went mono blue with the deck. You could do a blue yellow build. I have gameplay where I went up against somebody who was playing a blue yellow build, and it was good. But I'm going mono blue with my version. So the leader auto, when this card attacks, draw a card, which is always good to have that effect. Second auto, at the end of your turn, place up to 1 card under this card into your energy in rest mode. So this is how you'll ramp, because you'll put your Khalifas under your leader during your main phase, right? And then at the end of the turn, you'll put them in your energy area in rest mode, and that's how you ramp. So you're ramping at the end of your turn, not during your turn. And then we have Awaken. When you have 4 or less life, draw a card and switch 1 of your energy to active mode and flip this card over. On the Awaken side, when this card attacks, draw a card, just like the front, the same thing. It still ramps, by at the end of your turn, so you're still getting ramp even when you awaken. Active Battle, once per turn ability, this card gets 5k power for the battle for each card under this card. So for example, if you don't ramp, right? If you don't ramp, you could trigger this card's active battle ability and make it really strong. So if you have 2 cards on this, for example, you get 10k power. So essentially, you get free super combo just for having 2 cards under this card. So that's pretty cool. That is badass. It's active battle, which means obviously you can use it defensively and offensively, which is very useful. Then we have Energetic Frenzy Kefla. She's a Universe 6. So all the battle cards in the deck, besides Baby Hachiyak, of course, are all Universe 6. So they're good. And this has you can only play 1 copy of this in your battle area. And second permanent, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each blue battle card you have. But ironically, since we ramp with this deck, it wouldn't be that hard to hard cast this for 7 by turn 5, for example. So you could, but if you do have battle cards, which wouldn't be that hard since we do have a couple 1-drops in the deck. You can play this for less sooner than later. The cheapest you can play this is for 3 specified blue energy. And she has the active main ability: once per turn, draw 2 cards. Then at the start of your opponent's next main phase, choose 2 of your energy and blue energy specifically, and switch them to active mode. This is mono blue, so you're good. So you will draw 2 cards every turn and untap 2 blue energy on your opponent's turn, which is always useful, obviously, so that we can take advantage of the negates we have in the deck, as well as Senzu Bean and our counter attacks. So always keep your defenses up, right? Then and of course, you draw from her 2 cards from her, 1 from the leader. If you have Raditz in play, you draw a card, so you can be getting 4 cards a turn with those 3 cards in play. So your hand should be pretty thick. Alright, Kale, Rampaging Demon, Deflect, Double Strike, 30k. Very important to remember that it's double strike. Auto, when this card is played without using skills, because there is a way to cheat it out with the effect of the Unison. So without playing it with the Unison, you get this card's auto, which is to choose one of these abilities. There's there's 2 effects you can choose from. Choose all of the first effect. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or more. Place them at the bottom of their owner's decks. And if your leader card is blue Kale, which means regardless of your leader being Kale, you get to choose all your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or more and bottom deck them. So if you splash this in a blue deck, you at least get a basic board wipe, and you bottom deck them, which is the best way to board wipe. Sucks it doesn't ignore barrier in that scenario, right? And then, but if the leader is blue Kale, like it is in this deck, place up to 1 card from the top of your deck under your leader. So obviously that will help you further continue ramping. I'm double checking if I'm right. The leader says at the end of your turn you ramp. So, and then second effect you can choose is if you have 7 or more energy, and since you're ramping, that wouldn't be that hard. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier, which is an important detail, right? Place them at the bottom of the owner's deck, and this card gains barrier and dual attack for the turn. So if you have 30k double strike with barrier, they can attack twice. If you have 7 or more energy, which wouldn't be that hard to do since you can easily ramp. So as soon as turn 5, right? Yep, because turn 2 is when you do it. Yeah, as soon as turn 5 is when you can drop this bad girl and clear your opponent's board and have a 30k double strike that can attack twice with barrier, which is always good to have. And then we have Super Saiyan Khalifa, Kefla, Unending Evolution, dual attack 20k. Union Patara, pay 2 blue energy. You need a Khalifa and a Kale. Their colors don't matter, so obviously, so you can use them with the yellow Khalifas and Kales. Auto, when this card, and the way you Union Patara is that you need both the cards in play. You stack them on top of each other and you play this on top of them. Auto, when this card is played from your deck, so there is a way to play it from the deck, obviously, right? When you play this card from your deck, draw 1 card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. So seeing a pattern there with the bottom decking effects, which is always the best way to get rid of something. Active main, pay 2 blue. If your leader card is Universe 6, so you can even have a red Universe 6 leader, right? Like Champa. And yeah, there's a Khalifa Universe 6 red leader you could use this with. Anyway, and your opponent has 4 or more energy, you may place this card at the bottom of its owner's. You may place this card at the bottom of your deck. If you do, choose up to 1 blue Kefla card with an energy cost of 8 in your hand, and play it. So this is a way to cheat out the 8-drop arrival blue yellow Kefla, which I'm not using, but if I had it in the deck, then this ability would be used for that. But this is just a 20k dual attack for this deck, and you could play for 2 energy if you have a Khalifa and Kale in play, which won't be that hard because this Khalifa is a 1-drop and this one is a counter attack, and it costs 1 during your opponent's turn if your leader card is, it's Universe 6, so you'll be able to play this. So as soon as turn 3, you should be able to drop this card. So there's that, and it's a 20k dual attacks. It's always good to have multiple attacks with 20k power and up. So we have SS Kale Universe 6 combination, counter attack, negate the attack and play this card. Permanent, if your leader card is a Universe 6 card and it's your opponent's turn, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So it costs 1 blue to play this on your opponent's turn to negate an attack and play. Auto, if your leader card is blue Kale card, when this card is played, you may choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. If you do, your opponent can't attack with battle cards with energy costs greater than their current energy for the turn, unless they choose 2 cards in their hand and place them at the bottom of their deck in each time they do it. So this is the topo of the deck. So for 1 energy, 1 blue energy, you can with this leader, you can negate an attack, play her, and if your opponent tries to attack with anything higher than their own energy cost, they would have to discard 2 cards. They would have to bottom deck 2 cards. So it's all about putting cards at the bottom of your opponent's deck, which is good against any deck that's graveyard heavy. Obviously this effect would be useful against like Dark Broly, right? You don't want them to put anything in the drop anyway. You always want to bottom deck their stuff. So there's that. Then we got SS Khalifa. She has deflect, 15k, active main, limit 1, so you can use this ability once a turn for any period. So you can't use the effects of any other copy once you use this copy's effect. For 1 blue, if your leader card is blue Universe 6 card and you have 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand, then draw a card. So you can on turn 2 you could play this out for 1 energy. So for like an example would be like turn 1 you charge an energy, right? Your opponent attacks, you play Kale, to negate an attack and get her onto the field, and the next turn, on turn 2, you have 2 energies, you could pay 1 blue to play Khalifa, and now you have both Kale and Khalifa in play. And if you swing with the leader and play Senzu Beam, so that way you can untap your energies, so you're back to blue, 2 blue energies. In active mode, you can use those 2 blue energies to play the Kefla on top of the Kale and the Khalifas. So there's that. And of course, you can attack with them first, and then summon Kefla by using them 2 as materials to summon her and get an extra attack. So you can do 4 attacks on turn 2, leader swing plus these 2, and then actually, because this is dual attack, you get 2 more attacks. So you can obviously do 5 attacks. You could do 5 attacks on turn 2 with that line of play. And then second activating ability, pay 2. If your leader card is blue, Kale card, right? Place this card under your leader card from your hand. You can't play non-Universe 6 battle cards with 35k power or less for the game. You can still play tokens, of course, because they don't have cost. But just in general, tokens are battle cards, so they're letting you play tokens with this effect. And then we have SS2 Khalifa. Auto, when this card is played, draw a card, so it replaces itself. Active main, pay 2. If your leader card is blue Kale card, place this card under your leader from your hand, and still you can't play battle cards that aren't Universe 6 with 35k power or less, except for tokens. So we have 8 cards we can use to ramp. We also have the Unison can also be used to help us ramp. Sons of Being, active battle ability, choose up to one of your cards and then gains 5k power for the duration of the turn. Then choose 2 of your energies and switch them to active mode. Universe 6 combination, counter attack, negate the attack. If your leader card is a Universe 6 card, play up to 1 Universe 6 card with an energy cost of 1 from your drop area with its skills negated for the turn. So our main target for that will be the SS2 Khalifa. SX did it negates her effect because the only effect she literally has is when you play this card, draw a card. It's like, why won't they let us get that effect, right? You know, what if she was a blocker, right? That would have been nice to use this to bring back a 1-drop blocker so we could potentially stop 2 attacks, but whatever. They always want to be an asshole and negate an effect. Anyway, active main ability, pay 1 blue. If your leader card is Universe 6 card, choose all of your battle cards with both Sane and Universe 6, and they get 5k power for the turn. So that's pretty badass. So the more Universe 6 blue battle cards you have in play, right? not the more, but if you have a whole bunch of them, play this, and now they all get 5k boost, which comes in handy. This works with a Universe 6 leader, not blue leader, so you can use this with the Khalifa red leader that has the effect where you discard, I think it was, discard 1 card and all your battle cards get 5k power. So this plus that, you get 10k. You can give 10k to all your battle cards. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, playing 2 copies of these can give, because it's not limit 1, so you can play 2 of these in 1 turn and give all your battle cards 10k boost, which is always nice. So you can easily turn your 15s into 25s, your 10s into 20s, your 20s into 30s, your 30s into 40ks. You get the idea. So it's pretty nice to have that added ability where you can just give yourself a whole bunch of boosts, so you can make it easier to go for a game. Especially if you play multiple copies of these. Just so good. A sister's combination, determination. Counterattack, if your leader card is a Universe 6 card, negate the attack. You may choose 1 blue card in your hand and discard it. If you do, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for the turn with a battle card or unison card with 20k power or more. So this will allow anything that has 20k power or more to, and only ones to be able to attack. So anything 19k or less won't be able to attack. That would include tokens as well. So that's a pretty nice effect. to have. I imagine if you had what's that thing called? Scheme, Android 21's Scheme. This will be a good way to defend against your opponent having a whole bunch of tokens, the 10k tokens, and this is obviously good against any deck that goes wide with a whole bunch of 15ks. So this is useful against that. And then we have the active battle ability, which is limit 1 for the effect. If it's your opponent's turn, and it's an active battle ability, if it's your opponent's turn, choose up to one of your cards and it gets 10k power for the battle. Then choose up to one of your mono blue energy and switch it to active mode. So essentially, you can play this for free. Right? If you use this on your opponent's turn, you're essentially playing it for free because you'll tap a blue, play this to give your whatever, more likely your leader, right? Give your leader 10k boost to defend against your opponent's attack, right? Untap an energy, which can let you play, you know, anything else like a Senzu Bean. So you can combine this with Senzu Bean and be able to get 15k to your leader off of 2 cards and still have 2 blue energies, right? That you can use for anything else you might need. In case you need to do 10, more 10ks, we got a couple battle cards that have 10k combo power that requires an energy, so you could do that to further boost your ability to out combo an attack. So there's that use. Sorry, but obviously this is a negate, so I'd rather just negate, right? But there is an option. Yeah, because there might be a scenario you might wanna Senzu Bean, right? So you'll play this and then combine it with Senzu Bean. Instead of using negate, you use the active battle and then combine it with Senzu Bean, so that way the Senzu Bean will be in effect for the rest of the turn. Just a hypothetical scenario. More like I'm just gonna play this to negate an attack and then make it where all my opponent's weak battle cards, including their unisons, won't be able to attack. Which is nice because most unisons aren't above 20k, so this already shuts down unisons in general. So if your opponent attacks with a leader, for example, you'd be like, bang, play this, negate the attack, pitch a blue card. Now your opponent's unisons cannot attack at all, right? And they only have 1, right? So you can't attack with a unison, and any battle card 20k or less can't attack. Anything higher than that, anything 20k or higher can. So I said it wrong. Yeah, so 19k or less unisons can't attack, but 20k unisons can. So this will shut down 15k unisons, maybe, and even 19k unisons, but not 20k ones. 20k unisons can still attack. So keep that in mind, like like Raditz and stuff, Goku's, things of that nature. They can still, they can't attack, but 20k unisons can. Because this is 20 and up, can. But it's only one time, so that's the only thing that really matters. One time, and you can obviously negate that secondary attack. Moving on, Tragedy Overground, field card. First permanent, this card can't be removed from your battle area by the skills of your opponent's battle cards. But it still can be affected by leader, unison, or extra card effects. Second permanent, when your opponent plays a battle card with energy cost 4 or more, it is put into your opponent's energy area in rest mode instead of being played. And auto, when this card is activated, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignore and bury, which is important, right, and place them into their opponent's energy area in rest mode. So ironically, when you play this, you'll essentially help ramp your opponent up, but you'll have this in effect, so this should give you the advantage after the fact. And this is, you're going to be hard casting this for 9, but it's not that hard in this deck, since this deck easily, ramps up. I got to like 5 energy, and my opponent was already at 8, so my opponent was already 3 energies ahead of me when I was playing against the, the the blue-yellow Kale deck. So they were just one turn away from which if might, yeah, they did get to 9 energy, so yeah, they definitely could have played this on me, but I don't think they had it in their deck. So moving on, SS Khalifa, Spirited Striker, +1 active main ability. This card gets 5k power for the turn. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 2 or less and return to the owner's hand. So it's good for getting rid of any 1-drop blockers, 1 or 2-drop blockers, right? And she becomes the 20k on your turn for her +1 ability. Her -3 ability, active main. If your leader card is blue Kale card and you have 5 or more energy, you may place this card under your leader card, and if you do, play up to one Kefla card with 30k power or less from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So I don't have the one. I thought this was the one. Oops, that's Kale. Or am I reading wrong? No, it is Kefla. 30k or less, 5-drop Kefla. Oh, why am I saying 5 or less? This does 30k power less Kefla. Oh, okay. That's why I'm getting confused. Because I keep thinking it's a 5-drop that I gotta grab. And so I was thinking this was the 5-drop. No, it's, I can bring out Energetic Frenzy Kefla. Because this one says when you play, if you play with a skill, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do its auto. But of course you're not playing this. This is a Kale, not a Kefla. This is a Kefla. This is a Kefla. So this does 30k power or less. So obviously this is a 25k Kefla and this is a 20k Kefla. So these two are the targets for that effect. So don't get confused like I just did. Because I was thinking of this one because this one has 30k. I was like, no, this is Kale. So this is the big target for this. So this is a good way to cheat this one out using this effect. And then, shuffle your deck, obviously, all the good stuff. But there are other Keflas you can play. There's it's the blue-yellow Arrival Kefla that just got spoiled. Or at least I just saw it. So there is one that you could use. This one could play it. This can play it. So there's there's 8 cards in the deck that can play that blue-yellow Kefla. So you could replace this Kefla with that if you want in order to utilize these two's abilities to play it out. But I do I'm going mono blue with this deck, so I do prefer this Kefla. But you can play the other one. The other one is, a really good card. Alright. So that's the effects of that card. And moving on. Raditz Giant Force blocker. 19k, right? Auto. Once per turn, when this card activates the blocker skill, you can switch it back to active mode, so you can block with it again. So you get 2 blocks for the price of 1. +0 ability. Active. Oh shit, the key card. Alright. Active main. Draw 1 card, and at the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode, so that way you can attack with it, of course. And then use this ability to draw a card. Gotta get that card advantage, and switch it back to active mode so you can block with it twice on your opponent's turn. So you have a sword and a shield, which is always good to have. Gotta keep your defenses up. And then it's -2 ability, active main. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, return it to the owner's hand. Then at the end of your turn, switch one of your blue energy to active mode. So this is a good way of getting rid of any problematic battle card on your opponent's turn. Off the board, and be able to untap energy, so you can use it for your negates, obviously, as well as you could block 2 attacks with this, so you can potentially stop 3 attacks. with this, as well as putting your opponent back one battle card, greatly increases or decreases their ability to attack you a lot. So that way you have to defend less, but you can always defend as much as you can with these cards. And then we have SS4 Goku, Protector of the Earth. Auto, when this card is played during your opponent's next turn, they can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one of their battle cards with energy cost 2 or more and place it at the bottom of the deck, right, bottom decking, in order to attack. Which most people don't do, so this gives you an extra turn. Now this only affects battle cards, not unisons or leaders, so you still gotta block against unisons and leader swings. Plus -1 ability, active main, draw 2 cards and choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. So there's some draw power to this card. And then the -2 ability, which is what I normally combo with the auto, is choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignore and bear, which is important, and return them to the owner's hand. So that's the almighty push. So I'll play this, get the auto, -2, bounce my opponent's board back to the hand. And that's how I get me an extra turn. So essentially it's a time walk. It's all about getting them extra turns. And then of course the mighty Baby Hachiak. Ultimate counterattack. If you have 3 or more energy, negate the attack, then play this card. Your opponent can't attack for the turn. So essentially you're going to get an extra turn out of this. Second permanent, if your leader card is mono blue, which it is, you can choose 1 other card in your hand and discard it instead of paying the cost of this card, because it is an 8-drop. Granted, we do ramp with this, but it's not necessary. We just discard a card and play for free. So free negate on top of all our other negates, right? You gotta love it. And that's the end of the video.